Welcome back to the TKO show. Honestly, I'm not feeling the best today, so this is just going to be a quick little rundown of the games, of the week 8 games for college football. So yeah, let's just get into it. This is actually, I should preface or say this before I start with anything. I'm not going through all the top 25 teams' games because some of them honestly kind of suck. Like, I know LSU is playing Oklahoma is playing UCF. Like, that's not a game I'm talking about. Oklahoma's going to win that. Or an Air Force Navy. I might talk about that if I get to it, if I remember to, but I doubt it. Or Tulane, Texas. That's Tulane's winning that. So there are going to be some games that I leave out because of that, and I'm trying to get this done kind of quickly so I can sleep. But yeah, just starting off with Washington versus Arizona State. Washington's winning that one by a lot. I don't really see Arizona State coming away with a win on that one, or it even being close. But Arizona State, believe they had a close game with USC a few weeks ago, so I could be wrong on that. But yeah, just moving on to the next game, USC, Utah. I have Utah winning this one, honestly. I don't know how Utah's defense will do against Caleb Williams and that USC offense, but I don't know. USC came off of an embarrassing loss to Notre Dame, and I feel like Utah has the power and ability to steal a win away from USC. Granted, USC is ranked a lot lower than Utah is, Utah being 14, USC being 18, after USC dropping 8 spots in the AP poll. After that, I believe 45-24 loss to Notre Dame last week. But not just based off of rankings, I do think that Utah can steal a win away from USC. So yeah, moving on to Florida State versus Duke. Florida State being 4th, Duke being 16th. I actually have Duke coming away with this one. Florida State really only has one good win over LSU, and I believe that was week 1. It was week 1, and they won 45-24. And really, they haven't played anyone else. They played Southern Miss, Boston College, Clemson, who they barely beat 31-24. Then Virginia Tech and Syracuse. Now they have Duke. I mean, I feel like they can beat Duke. Duke has the ability to beat them. They've beaten some good teams. Let me go back to who they beat. So they beat Clemson when Clemson was 9th. Beat them by a lot, 28-7. That was week 1. Granted, Clemson also sucks, and I'm surprised they're still not ranked. Not because they're good, because they have the ability, or that they still, what I like to call over on my radio show is, what do I call it? The Trevor Lawrence effect. I kind of feel like that's wearing off a little bit, where Clemson gets ranked high coming into the season and stays ranked for most of the season, then drops out of the top 25. But I don't know. They really haven't played well for Clemson. But yeah, moving back to Duke, though, they beat Clemson. Then they barely lost to Notre Dame. They lost 21-14. I mean, I feel like they can upset Florida State. I don't think Florida State is as good as everyone thinks they are. But yeah, Duke's winning that one. Honestly, I would put my money on Duke. But moving on to Ole Miss, Auburn. Ole Miss is 13th. Auburn is not ranked, but they are 3-3. Honestly, I feel like they do have the ability to upset Ole Miss. They lost to Georgia by 7. Got destroyed by 30 points by LSU. And have Ole Miss. That's a tough 3 stretch of games, but I feel like they can come out the other side and upset Ole Miss. Now, I haven't really seen much of either team, but yeah, I do have Ole Miss winning this one, though, but I'm not too confident in saying that. I do think that Auburn could pull off an upset. Moving on to Iowa, Minnesota. Iowa's 24th. Minnesota is not ranked, but they're 3-3. The only reason why I say this one, or talking about this one, is because I forget his name, but I believe it's their offensive coordinator for Iowa, the coach's son. I'm pretty sure he has to score 50 points this game to be able to keep his job, because in his contract it says that he has to average 25 points per game, I believe it is, and I believe for him to get that, he has to hit 20 or 50 points this game against Minnesota, and I think average 30 points a game for the remaining games, which they're going to win. They're not tough teams. From what I can tell, from what I see, it's Minnesota, then Northwestern, then Rutgers, Illinois, then Nebraska. They'll beat Minnesota. I assume they'll hit 25 points. Northwestern, I feel like they'll hit 50 against Northwestern. Northwestern sucks, especially with all the things that are going on with them. But yeah, Rutgers scored 25, Illinois scored 25, Nebraska, I don't think they'll score 25. I think that defense is semi-decent and is competent. What is going on in my fantasy league? But yeah, moving on to Missouri, South Carolina. Missouri ranked 20th. South Carolina is not ranked, but 2-4. Missouri wins this easily. Not much to say on that. Moving on to a good matchup is Bama, Tennessee, I should say. Bama is 11th. Tennessee is 17th. This is in Tuscaloosa this year. As you remember, last year, Tennessee beat Alabama off of a game-winning field goal. And I just don't see Tennessee being able to knock Bama off again. Honestly, I haven't watched much of Tennessee. Watched a little bit of Bama. Honestly, I think they aren't going to be able to do it without Jalen Hyatt and Hendon Hooker, or Hedon Hooker, however you say it. But yeah, I feel like Bama will win this by a touchdown, if that. It'll be definitely a close game. Moving on to the game of the week, and the last game I'm going to talk about is Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State is 3rd, Penn State is 7th, both undefeated. And this is in the Shoe, or the Horseshoe, in Columbus, Ohio, which is Ohio Stadium. It's just nicknames. But, yeah, honestly, I think this will be a great game. Penn State usually gives Ohio State a run for their money, especially with their defenses and linebackers that Penn State is known for. But, I don't know. I don't love McCord, but he's competent. I've grown to not hate him. I don't like him, but I don't hate him. I'm just meh on him, but he is still a good quarterback. Yeah, so I do think Ohio State will win this. I do think it is going to be close. I think it'll be within 3. But, yeah, that's all I have for you today. See you next time. Peace.